Welcome to Fort Worth for the NCAA Championship Finals. What a day this is going to be. Four incredible teams that have been battle tested to earn an opportunity to compete for a title. I'm Samantha Peshek alongside my fellow Olympian, Bridget Sloan. What are you thinking? Coming into today's competition, there is such a fierce competition between these four teams.
Sam, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little stressed. There's a lot on the line, but one thing that is so special, I think, for this final is every single team out there today, their head coach has not won a title. So no matter who claims that NCAA title tonight, it's gonna be a first, which is so special. I know I remember when we first won our title, it just is a very special moment, and it's, talk about getting over the hump. Each one of these teams is so commonly used to being in the final. So this is a huge opportunity. Ladies and gentlemen, we are gonna be seeing truly the best of the best gymnasts compete tonight.
I agree, and we've been talking who is going to win this competition. The NCAA championship title is on the line, and frankly, I can give my take of why I think every single team here is capable. And the interesting thing is when I was chatting with all the coaches in warm-up, they were, hello? When I was chatting with the coaches in warm-up, they all said any team could win the title. It hasn't always been like that in years past, but I think vault is going to be the deciding factor in this competition. What do you think, Bridget?
I couldn't agree more. I think it's gonna come down to who can stick the most vaults. I know in past years we looked at balance beam as being the make or break event, but man, let me tell you, every single athlete, every team is improving on balance beam and taking it to new heights. And we are gonna start off on vault. This is Skylar Drazer, a freshman for Florida. Big opportunity. Excellent start. Took a step forward on that landing. She actually had a little bit of issues with her run in the practice day. Couldn't quite get it under her belt, but no problem there today.
I'm always impressed with her. She's just a freshman, but under pressure, what a gamer. I'm a little surprised she took a step forward because she's usually money with the stick.
And over to balance beam we go. This is Andy Lee in the lead-off position for Cal. Sam, how important is it, your lead-off on every event, but on balance beam specifically? What does that mean for this team?
I think it means something different for all teams, and I actually asked head coach Liz Crandall-Howell about this position, and she said, man, Andy Lee is so steady. For us at Cal, we don't necessarily think about a score, but it's more important to set the tone from a vibe standpoint. She wants the rest of the team to feel calm, to feel comfortable, and that's exactly what Andy Lee brings to this team.
And in semifinal, Cal actually ended on balance beam. So a little transition into the finals. They're starting on this event. You mentioned you talked to Liz Crandall-Howell. Well, let me tell you, she believes in this team in just exponential ways. And she knows that they have the talent, and they've never been in this position before.
Could not be a better start for the Cal Bears on beam. They've already bested a school record as a team here just competing in this competition. So anything more than that is a job well done.
Incredible start for Cal. Right back over to vault we go. This is Victoria Wynn coming after Skylar Drazer, 9.875. So really nice start for Florida and for Skylar in that leadoff position. Victoria, a really strong vaulter, but has had some confidence issues with this vault. It's a Yurchenko 1.5. It's a 10.0 start value. She had some beautiful vaults in warm-up. Slight step back on that landing. Again, we're looking for the sticks. Vault is truly going, the champion today, I'm gonna say it now, is gonna have to stick at least 3 vaults. Right now, Florida has not stuck 1.
I actually agree with you. I think it's gonna come down to vault because that's where we're starting to see the nerve show up the most. We saw it during the semifinals with Oklahoma and a few other vaults that were sat down that night. Just really shocking. If you go too hard for a stick position, we really saw the negative effects that can have.
Well, no negative effects on balance beam. Andy Lee starts things off with a 9.875, and this is Maddie Williams.
She is just so beautiful to watch on this event. Cal really puts an emphasis on the artistry component of their routines, and you're gonna notice no pause or breaks in their routine. That's something that the whole team focuses on to make it a complete performance.
It's almost like telling a story.
Yep.
From beginning to end, every arm movement has a place, every head movement has a place, and it really does, in my opinion, it actually helped calm my nerves when I was competing if I kept that rhythm up.
I think breathing is also a really important part about beam. Sometimes when you're nervous, I think anyone watching can relate to this. When you're nervous, sometimes you tend to hold your breath, and that's the same with beam. You don't even want to move a muscle, but breathing actually helps calm you down during your routine, so it's important to remember. It's kind of funny talking about these elite athletes needing to remember to breathe on such an important stage.
It's very important to breathe. In the dismount.
Great save there at the end. You see her pull up, and I thought it was actually going to have to take a step back, but she was squeezing every muscle to hang on to that.
I think you can almost tell these athletes know what's on the line for not just themselves, but for their program, really making a huge impact and really making history tonight. Back to vault. This is Anya Pilgrim. Right now, Victoria win. The 9.85 is the score to drop. So you're going to be seeing 6 athletes compete on every single event, but only 5 scores will count. Anya, beautiful on this event. She's got a big Yurchenko 1.5 twist.
That got a lot of juice off that table. I think it's bigger than I ever have seen her do that vault.
Talking to her earlier, she actually said, when I go on vault, I really just count to 10. From start to finish, she's such a calm competitor. Really makes her gymnastics look so effortless. Again, coming after Skylar's 9.875, Victoria 9.85. So the scores, we really want to see them break into that 9.9 if they really want to make a difference on vault. Over to beam, Ella Cesario. She had a fall in semifinals, Sam, and luckily her team had her back. They did advance, did not have to count that fall, but if you are in Ella's position, you know that you fell in semifinals. What are you thinking about going into this beam routine?
Well, hopefully you're not thinking about that at all. But of course, easier said than done. You and I have both been in that position where we've had a fall and we've had to come back. Sometimes it's easier to do a routine after you have fallen because you work beam a little angry. We talked a lot about this during the semifinal day because there happened to be a lot of falls. So I'm hoping that she's going to be a bit more aggressive.
And the fall came right here. Handspring layout, step out.
I want to see her a little bit stronger when she lands. You see her front knee is supposed to land in a bent position, and she straightens that, but then held on to the lunge. That's a really important position. Again, it's those home base positions, I like to say, that she needs to hang on to. And Bridget, it's important to note, too, the podium has an effect on the beam, which makes it a little shaky. So you have to hang on to those finish positions longer than you would on hard ground. She comes back for redemption, Bridget.
Sam, she fell in semifinals, but what a warrior out there up on balance beam. Such a difficult event, and man, Cal is off to a tremendous start in this first rotation on, in my opinion, and I think you would agree, the most difficult event, balance beam.
Yeah, I think this is a good competition order for them. Getting that out of the way, and it's an event that they've excelled on. And over to vault. This is Danny Ferris coming after Anya Pilgrim, just that 9.8. Danny able to stick this vault. Wow. She's had some ups and downs on this vault throughout the season. She's had trouble finding the landing in competitions, but wow. To bring it as a freshman in the most important meet of the year, that speaks volumes about her.
I think Florida was a little underrated all season long because of the freshmen they had competing, because you really don't know what it's going to be like when they get in the competition scene. But let me tell you, every freshman that is competing in this Florida lineup, they're gamers. And over to Beam. MJ Frazier coming after Ella Cesario's 9.8875. So the scores are on that uphill trend. They're climbing.
During our ABC preseason show, Anastasia Webb talked about Cal and the discipline that they have in their gymnastics and as a team. And I think that is best showcased on Beam here. Head coach Liz Crandall-Howell said that they've been doing cold sets on this event for 3 weeks. I'm laughing because it's so hard to do. Bridget, what's a cold set?
Well, a cold set, Sam, is when you get no warm-up and you just come into the gym and do the beam routine, or really the routine in general. And let me be completely clear, I preferred it that way.
Some athletes do. It's less time to think, but it's really an exercise to prove to the athletes that they have the confidence to do this routine during any circumstance, any direction, and with any crowd. And we're really seeing that have a positive effect with this Cal team.
MJ is so aggressive with her finishes. You mentioned with Ella, you want to see her get to those finish positions a little bit faster. One thing MJ doesn't shy away from is that aggressive intention.
Yeah, I really like MJ on Beam, her style, because to your point, she's quick and sharp to the finish position. She stood right back up, which shows the judges that she has a sharp, crisp look, but she also has a flowy, artistic nature to her routine. So totally the full package, in my opinion.
And the dismount.
Wow. They came to play. The Cal Bears, for the first time in the finals. This is going to be an exciting meet.
Sam, she had a great beam routine in the semifinals, but dare I say that was better. I mean, no doubt about it, that was better. It was crispier, it was tighter. I mean, starting on balance beam is such a difficult event to start on, but Cal takes it on with such pride. We're talking about an athlete that takes pride in what they do. This is Leanne Wong over on vault. Coming at Danny Ferris, posting a 9.9125.
Florida needed that.
Big vault here. Whoa. Just a slight step on that landing in semifinals. Sam, she stuck that vault.
She did.
Hold. It looked like she was trying a little too hard for that stick, and we talked about it, and we'll continue to talk about it this entire live stream of just these athletes sometimes get so dead set on I have to stick, and when you try that hard, the sticks don't actually happen.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I think it's a common mistake we're going to see a lot of today.
And over to balance beam, Maya Lazan, a beautiful beam performer.
Now I want you to watch this mount. This is called a TikTok. And I think on my best day, I know that I couldn't make it look like that, but on my best day, it would be really hard. And it's just a cool factor. You don't even get any extra points for it. So again, I can't give enough props to this team for adding those unique elements because it adds risk without that reward.
And Sam, MJ just posted a 9.95.
Well deserved.
So Maya being set up for a big score here. She's got the difficulty, she's got the grace.
Triple series. Again, holding on to the landing position. She's working on minimizing those deductions. I spoke to Justin Howell, associate head coach at Cal, or co-head coach, excuse me. And I asked him if they're ready. He said, we do our best when we focus on the joy and freedom. And I asked him to explain that, and he said, well, at Pac-12s, we had some mistakes on our first event, and the coaching staff mentioned to them, hey, that's not the start we wanted to have. And the team actually came to the coaches and said that had a negative effect on them. So they're working on continuing to have that fun, lighthearted demeanor throughout the competition.
Wow, wow, wow. What I'm blown away, Sam. Dare I say I'm speechless.
I mean, these reactions make it seem like they've already won the national championship. How cool is that?
Huge beam routine from Maya Lazan coming after MJ's 9.95. And back to vault, the final competitor for Florida. This is Ellie Lazzari.
She sticks cold every single vault she does in the gym, we're told. She also had a phenomenal landing during the semifinals. Can she do it again?
Yes, she can. Not the stick that we're used to seeing. Florida right now, starting on vault, they looked like they were just trying so hard for the landings, which as a coach, it's tricky. You want them to be really honing in on the landings, but you want them to also come naturally. Unfortunately, we didn't see a single stick from Florida on vault, so you're not seeing the huge scores that we're used to seeing, but it's only the first rotation. They have plenty of room to make it up.
I'm interested to see how the other teams respond on vault today.
And over to balance beam, Gabby Perea in the final spot for this Cal lineup in semifinals. She had the pressure. This was a pressure routine because her score had to count today. It's a little bit lighter. Obviously, she wants to do a great job, but she's got some tremendous scores ahead of her. Maya Lazan posting another 9.9.
You know, you talk about less pressure, and I actually feel the opposite, Bridget, because normally with 5 solid scores, the pressure is not as significant on the final athlete. 6 scores, and you get to drop the lowest. But I think in a meet like this, every single 10th is going to count. So they're looking to drop. Ooh,
slight balance check.
She's not going to get that connection, so she's trying again. So this is certainly the score that Cal is going to want to drop. Going for the standing full because I'm guessing she needed more difficulty in that routine.
All right,
to
Sam.
Start from a 10.0. What?
We got to talk about this quickly. She just did a standing tuck full, one of, if not the most difficult beam skill. I know it was the hardest one for me to ever compete. You, on the other hand, felt differently. How impressive is that to think that quickly on your feet?
Well, that's a big skill to just ad-lib, let me tell you. Can't wait to get the backstory on why that was the plan B here. And she nailed it. It's, again, gonna be the score to drop because she had some wobbles throughout, but if there's a tie situation, that routine might come in handy.
I really want to know what the conversation between her and Liz is, because that was incredible what she just pulled off. And again, Cal right now, they have a 49.475 on balance beam, which is huge. Leading the way right now at the end of this first rotation.
Yeah, I'm looking at the scores here, and it's really going to come down to the wire. Not only the entire event, but just this rotation.
All right, well, that wraps up rotation number 1. I am Bridget Sloan with my fellow Olympic teammate Samantha Peshek. We are your vault and beam stream. Do not go anywhere because rotation 2 is coming up next.
Championship finals is underway, finishing our first event. There's 3 more to go and lots of excitement already. LSU is in the lead with a 49.6125. Following that is California, Utah, and then Florida, but there have been no significant mistakes, so everybody is still in the running. Bridget, what'd you think about rotation number 1? It's already going better than semifinals 2 the other night.
I was gonna say, Sam, we are already off to a better start. There were no mistakes to my knowledge that counted, and that is the big thing to keep in mind. Every rotation is a new start for these athletes. We are the vault and beam stream team, so you'll be seeing a lot of vault and beam on this stream with Samantha Peshek and myself, and this is KJ Johnson for LSU. Big Yurchenko full here. Oh, man. A little messy on that And KJ, she had a fall in her floor routine in the first rotation. So that was a big moment for her to come back, step up, and show up for her team.
Yeah, but we're looking for sticks, Bridget. We can't just put it to your feet. And she looks a little off today. We spoke to head coach Jay Clark, and he actually was wondering if they were going to switch the lineups to take her out because she couldn't seem to find the landing here on podium as well as she did in the regular season.
And over to beam we go for Utah. This is Emily Morgan.
She was an athlete on the Great Britain team for the 2020 Olympics and earned a bronze medal. She's going to pursue those dreams after this NCAA championships. Wow, solid. And if there's a team to absolutely go lights out on this event, in my opinion, it's Utah. Emily Morgan in this leadoff spot has been so solid. She had her first fall of her entire career at Pac-12s, but she had just flown in from Europe 3 days prior and hadn't had much sleep or experience with this routine again, so she's been looking steady ever since.
Sometimes it's really good to get those mistakes out before you get on the big stage. A conference championship is so important, but getting here to the NCAA championships and getting to the finals, you have to think it's a little bit more, but the pressure is on in this leadoff spot.
Just the dismount could not be any better. I didn't see any deductions there. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what they do. Huge hugs from Coach Carly Dockendorf. I spoke to Emily Morgan in the warm-up, and just her whole attitude and demeanor was really casual and talking about the Olympics and this meet. She said, yeah, it's just one step at a time, and I think that's a big factor of why she's in that leadoff position for Utah. It's her personality that brings so much to this beam team.
Well, Sam, you mentioned you didn't see any deductions, but when you've got 6 judges, I'm sure they saw one.
I'm sure.
Back over to vault. This is Aaliyah Finnegan in the vault lineup. Yurchenko, 1.5, pretty big step forward. She did not compete in the semifinal, so having her back in the lineup, head coach Jay Clark knows she can do it. Sometimes it's interesting to see the coaches kind of take athletes out or insert them in different positions for the finals. Really, you're just trying to do what's best for not only the athletes, but what is going to help the team out the most.
I think what we're seeing a lot across the board, especially from these top teams, is the amount of depth they have at this level and on these events. They're able to do the touch warm-up and basically choose, hey, you're who's hot. We're going to have you jump in the lineup right now.
And up for beam for Utah in this second spot. This is McKenna Smith coming after Emily Morgan's huge 9.9125 to start for Utah on balance beam.
Hitch kick into a front aerial split jump. Nicely done. This team had a tumultuous fall, to say the least. There was a lot of drama surrounding coach situations. Carly Dockendorf is now the sole head coach, and there's been outside noise. Coaches say they didn't really feel supported necessarily, so they really had to work on bringing that confidence from inside the team more than ever this year, but they think that they've used it as a strength, and that's why they've made it so far this season. Emily Morgan starting off with over a 9.9. That is huge for this Utah team.
And the dismount, wow.
Right in line, another solid set for Utah. There seems to be no beam issues that we know of here today. There was a lot of that going on during this semifinal day. Hopefully all the nerves are out now.
Absolutely. Utah off to a tremendous start in this second rotation on balance beam, which tends to give teams some problems. Dare I say it? It does, but no issue so far for Utah. And back to vault. This is Amari Drayton coming after Right now, LSU only breaking into the 9.8s. Amari has a huge Yurchenko, 1.5 here.
Oh, wow. I thought she was not going to make that, Bridget. I cannot believe she saved that.
Talk about having to finesse.
Yes.
She under-rotated that ball, but is so strong and so capable. She took a slight shuffle backwards. Obvious deduction there, but really saved from being catastrophic.
Well, I wish we had a slow-mo replay because it looked like she was going flat for her back and then something inside of her, it's her core. I know it's she squeezes her core and adds her quick twitch muscle to stand her up, so saves herself from the fall there.
Maybe we could have done that back in the day, but I don't
know.
I don't know about these days.
That's an athletic gymnast right there.
Well, over to beam. This is Grace McCallum. McKenna Smith, a 9.8375. I have to wonder if maybe there was a connection she missed, because
no, she didn't have control on her dismount, and she had a slight wobble in her leap series. So I think, to your point, it looked really good, but there's 6 judges. So drop the high, drop the low, average the remaining 4. They're obviously getting a closer look than you and I, Bridget.
And Grace McCallum, used to being in these pressure situations, has that international experience that she can bring to the NCAAs.
But she did have a fall at regionals that put pressure on the rest of the lineup. That handspring layout. She also had a fall during that one-touch warm-up, which I actually think is a good thing. If you're having a fall in warm-up, sometimes it takes the pressure off of being so perfect during the routine.
I think sometimes it almost makes you hone in on those mental cues even tighter when you do have that mistake, which can ultimately just help you tremendously during the competition.
Wow. Another nearly perfect routine for Utah. I cannot wait to see these scores continue to rise for them. What do you think? You think we're good juju today?
Juju.
Yes,
I do.
I feel like we were bad juju on semifinals day, but it feels like a different energy in here today.
We were due for a win, Sammy. We were due for a win. And so far the team, I think it might be the teams that are out there, but
maybe
we'll participate a little bit. Back to vault. This is Savannah Shane here. Again, right now LSU needs a big score.
It's rinse and repeat for Savannah on that vault. I really like how clean and technical it is in the air. She lands, absorbs the mat, slight hop forward. Of course, that'll be a deduction, but it's controlled, and so the deductions will be minimal there.
One thing Savannah has always done in her entire gymnastics career is she really has this sense of air awareness where no matter how high, what is happening in the air, she just finds the landing. And LSU right now, they need that on vault. And back to beam for Utah. This is Abby Paulson. Sam, you called it. Grace McCallum just posted a 9.9375. So right now, Utah is looking to drop McKenna Smith's 9.8375.
And just to put it in perspective, well, I guess Savannah's score on vault is a 9.875. But before that, their best score was a 9.8375. Abby Paulson, quick to that landing position. She is so aggressive on this event. If you haven't seen her score a perfect 10 in the Huntsman Center, it happened on senior night, and there's an amazing video of her parents cheering you on, but just get ready to be a little emotional. She broke a connection, and so I think she's slowing down her rhythm to figure out how to regain those tenths by adding more skills. So she's taking a little extra time, more than she normally does, to redo this switch leap combination. So there were no wobbles, but it does indicate to the judges that you had a mistake. But it was almost as seamless as you could possibly do that. But this might be the score Utah will want to drop.
And right now, Utah has some solid scores on the board. So So they're sitting in a comfortable position, but sometimes it's when you're in that comfortable position and comfortable stance with the lineup that mistakes can happen. But back over to vault. This is Kaya Johnson. And Sam, you talked about Abby Paulson scoring that perfect 10 on senior night. We are going to be seeing a handful of athletes actually compete for the last time in their NCAA career tonight. Kaya Johnson being one of them.
Most difficult vault in the NC2A. Yurchenko double full. Round off onto the board. Backhand spring on the table. Two twists off. She didn't stick it, but dang, it looks good.
But it was a tiny hop. I mean, that was the most minimal hop that she could have done, because what makes that vault so difficult is you have to be so powerful, but you also have to have control. You have to have grace. I mean, Kaya does a phenomenal job on every event she competes, but she is just unmatched on a Yurchenko double twist.
But they need a 9-9, Bridget. They have not broken a 9-9 on this event yet, so Kaya's score and Haley's vault coming up next are really important.
Back over to beam. Abby Paulson posted a 9.85, so still looking to drop McKenna Smith's 9.8375. See those scores on the right-hand side. This is Miley O'Keefe in the 5th position.
She's an athlete that has so many 10s on this event, but tends to put a lot of pressure on herself. They found that focusing more on a business-like mindset before she mounts the beam has really helped her this year. Oh, could not do that series any better. Textbook, side aerial, layout, step out, full extension in her knees. Good rhythm. Man, I love watching this routine. Abby Paulson with that 9.85. What Miley does well is she really milks everything. The landings on her skills. Oh, she hung on to it.
She fought for that landing, did not move.
She milks the landing on her skills. She has beautiful finesse with her dance. She's great to watch. Truly the gold standard as a beam worker.
Utah off to a tremendous roll in this beam rotation, but Sammy mentioned that LSU has to break into the 9-9. Well, Kaya Johnson posted a 9.9125, and right here, Haley Bryant, the best to ever do it. Huge vault. That is going to be a 9-9 plus.
Yeah.
In my opinion. I mean, there's nobody that does that vault better. There's no better vaulter than Haley Bryant on that.
Certainly it's going to be a big score, but not a 10, because we saw that hop on the landing, but I think it's getting LSU back in scoring range on this event, because they're going to, like you said, have a couple of scores in that 9-9 range.
Really nice finish for LSU on vault, but we are back to beam, where the final competitor, Elizabeth Gantner, coming after Miley O'Keefe, a 9.9. So not a ton of 9-9 pluses in this Utah lineup, what we're used to seeing. But one thing is for sure, McKenna Smith, 9.8375 is still the score they're looking to drop.
Liz Ganter is new in this beam lineup for this championships weekend. Jaylene Gilstrap was in this position on the semifinals day, had a fall. So coaches told me earlier in warm-up that it was possible they were switching it out for a freshman, Liz Ganter. What a big moment.
Wow.
Nice.
You saw that shoulder dip just a little bit, but she
Good cover.
She kept moving, did that beautiful straddle jump.
If she hits this routine, she's gonna have the confidence forever. That's how important this is for her personally. And if she hits a routine that's going to count for the team, I think they're going to have even more confidence of her potential. in the coming years.
Means more when you can put a freshman into a high, not a high pressure situation, but they really want to drop that 9.8375 to keep a consistent. Right now, 49.4375 on this event.
Did she get the stick? Little hop, it was controlled though, and it was a hit routine. Solid beam rotation for Utah. They came in, they wanted to get the job done, and that's what they did.
Wow. So LSU on vault posting a 49.4. At this point, they are still in that first place position with 2 events to go, but Utah really showing up on one of the most difficult events, balance beam. Well, don't go anywhere because rotation 3 is coming up. I am Bridget Sloan. This is Samantha Peshek, and we are your vault and beam stream. Don't go anywhere because there's more gymnastics to come.
NCAA championship finals, and same as before, it is such a fierce competition, and it's only getting closer. LSU is still in the lead, but Utah is only down by 1/10. Then Cal is following, and Florida is in 4th place, but already shaved a significant, I say significant, it was a 10th. They shaved a 10th off. But in this competition, 1/10 feels significant. Bridget, we're heading into the 3rd event where Cal, you're looking at right now, are heading to vault, and Florida is on beam. What are your thoughts? Who you think's gonna take the win at the end?
I knew that it was gonna be tight. All competition. I knew that it was going to be tight. I didn't think it was going to be this tight. I mean,
I agree.
Every single team is showing up. They know what's on the line, but they're not afraid to go for it, which I think is just so awesome about NCAA gymnastics these days is no matter what, they're going to show up. And starting on vault for Cal, this is Maddie Williams. Cal sitting in that 3rd position in this 3rd rotation. Nice start for Cal. It's a 9.95 start value for Maddie Williams. And Sam, we've talked a lot about this in our previous semifinal, but the risk versus reward. You're going to see Cal actually put up 2 9.95 start values. You have to wonder sometimes, is it worth it?
Yeah, I agree, and I think you never really know. LSU KJ Johnson did that Yurchenko full and did a hop back, but if you're gonna do the Yurchenko full, you gotta get the stick, and that's unfortunately what we did not see from Maddie Williams on vault.
And transitioning over to balance beam, University of Florida, this is freshman Skylar Drazer in the leadoff spot.
Coming into this NCAA championships, they're ranked 3rd, but they've scored as high as a 49.625 on this event. So it's been consistent for them, and I really think Skylar Drazer has a lot to do with that. She's just a freshman, but has been so bulletproof in this position for the Gators.
Well, and Skylar just looks so comfortable in this leadoff position on a very difficult event, up on podium. I mean, she truly is just cool as a cucumber up on this balance beam.
Can she get the stick? Round off 1.5. Not a stick, but it was controlled. So I keep using the word controlled because that's what the judges are deducting for. The more out of control the landings look, the higher the deduction will be.
So ultimately, a really strong start for Florida and for Skylar, just a freshman. This is a huge confidence boost for her and the extent of her NCAA career. I'm so excited for her future. And back to vault we go. This is Kyan Mayhew. Maddie Williams posting a 9.85, really solid start. Let's see what Kyan can do. Yurchenko 1.5. She actually fell on floor in the previous rotation, so really amazing to see her come through for her and her team. That's a 10.0 start value in that second spot for Cal.
Yeah, and a hop in the right direction, in that over-rotated direction, which the judges and the coaches are really looking for.
Absolutely, and back to beam, this is Sloan Blakely. Skylar Drazer posting a huge 9.9 in that leadoff spot.
Yeah, that's huge for Florida. They're trailing in this competition, not by much, nothing they can't come back from. So they're hoping to catch up and maybe break away here on beam, which is one of their best events. Front aerial, back handspring. You saw her arm finesse that connection slightly. She was having herself a day during semifinals. And I was joking with head coach Jenny Rowland that you say your team is so reserved, so quiet, and it was the least quiet and reserved team on the floor during semifinals. Of course, there was a lot of drama happening in that meet, but I was impressed to see all of the celebrations from this Florida team.
Well, Sam, when the energy's popping, you can't ignore it. I mean, the energy in the Florida Corral.
And Sloan has this swaggy finish. I bet she's going to do it right now. I love to see it. Right there. The let's go.
Outstanding performance for Sloan Blakely. Coming after Skylar's 9.9. Really set up for a big one. And ultimately, Sam, I didn't see a lot of deduction in that routine.
Yeah.
She held those finish positions, full extension in her leaps. Really nicely done for Sloan Blakely. And back to vault we go. This is MJ Frazier. Kyan with a 9.9 on vault.
MJ is going to be doing same vault as Kaya Johnson, Yurchenko double full. She is so good at finding the landing. Can she do it in this critical moment?
Yes, yes she can, Sam, yes. The tiniest hop, but one thing that is the difference between what we saw from LSU and what we are currently seeing from Cal is the control in the landings. The minor hops, but also the holding. They absorb the landings, and that's why you're seeing such big scores right off the top. And over to beam, Anya Pilgrim. Wow, Sloan Blakely, massive 9.95 in that second spot. Right now, Florida not looking at anything under a 9.9, and Anya Pilgrim capable of putting up a big score here.
And I'm just looking across the board. 3 of the 4 teams had a lead-off 9.9. That's big time. Everyone is bringing their best today.
Well, Sam, it's the NCAA finals. You have to bring your best if you want to win.
Of course. I mean, sometimes that adds more pressure, but we're actually seeing these athletes compete really loose. There's nothing to qualify for, so it's actually easier than the semifinal or even regionals.
Absolutely. Slight balance check there. You saw that left leg come off the beam and a little bit of an arm swing, but gets it back. Anya is just so calm on balance beam.
It's important that she does this right here because she needs a series connection. Oh no. Did she do a series? She did. Okay. Wow. I'm looking at her face and she's looking disappointed. I thought she was going to repeat an element, but she just had that wobble on the front aerial.
I think she looks for perfection in
every
routine she does. So even the slightest
You mean
balance
she's a gymnast?
check. I know, who would have thought. But I think even the slightest balance check, she gets a little down on herself. But over to vault, this is Maya Lazan. Wow, MJ, the 99375. Cal not shying away from the difficulty in this vault lineup.
And I saw Maya stick this in touch. Can she do it again?
She had a 10.
Oh, she does.
She had a perfect 10 at regionals, the first ever perfect 10 in the postseason for Cal. And again, we talk about holding the finishes and
so
really
clutch.
Finessing that finish, and Maya Lazan doing just that. Right now, the way the scores are looking, they want to drop Maddie Williams 9.85. I don't think after Maya Lazan, Jaden Silvers and Ella Cesario, 2 huge vaulters for this Cal lineup. They are.
Maya Lazan has just been so clutch for this Cal team. Wow, impressive.
over to beam. This is Victoria Wynn. Anya Pilgrim, the score to drop, 9.875.
This is an athlete that head coach Jenny Rowland has been so impressed with just how much she's improved her competitive mentality and just mindset during these critical moments.
Ooh, big wobble, big break there. So Sam, what is now it looks like she's going back.
Setting up, you have to have a series in acro connection. So she's repeating the element, and it's really gonna be unclear on whether the judges are gonna honor that connection or not, because your arms have to continue to move. Hers did, but there was definitely a pause. So you never wanna leave that up to interpretation. Otherwise, she will not have all of her requirements, and that means she won't start from a 10.0. So possibly the score that Florida's hoping to drop.
Dismount.
And she stands up at the end, and certainly Florida is hoping that they'll be able to drop this score.
And right now, Florida has some extremely strong scores. They've got a 9.9, a 9.95, a 9.875. So with the 6 athletes up, 5 scores count, there is a little bit of grace if there happens to be any sort of mistake, but that puts the pressure on for the final 2 competitors in that beam lineup for Florida, which is Leanne Wong and Ellie Lazari.
I don't think there's any grace, Bridget. Usually you could drop a score, but I think these 6 athletes need to be bringing their best. It's tough out there.
And over to vault, this is Jaden Silvers. Slight hop forward, but she's got Maya posting a 9.95. Right now, Cal is rocking this vault rotation. Jaden showing the difficulty in that Yurchenko 1.5. And one thing that we've talked a lot about is the hops and the direction of the hop. Cal is doing the hop forward, showing the judges that they have a little too much juice. When you're doing a blind landing and you hop backwards, it's a clear indication to the judges you're lacking rotation. So really Cal emphasizing the amplitude off the vault, and it's showing.
Leanne Wong getting set up to go on beam. Victoria Wynn's score is not in yet. Keep you posted there. But before Leanne Wong goes, Jenny Rowland, head coach, just says, hey, you got this, all for the Gators. But she said she really doesn't like a lot of talking, and I'm laughing because you and I talked a lot about this on day 1. It seems like a lot of the elites on the teams don't like a lot of communication and talking before, whereas the level 10s that have come for that world do like a lot of coaching and talking. I just think it's an interesting observation there.
Yeah, I was not one who liked a lot of conversations happening. I normally told people, I got it, I'm gonna go up and do my thing. And Leanne Wong capable of a big score, which looking to drop that 9.6625 that was just posted for Victoria Wynn.
No, Leanne had some uncharacteristic troubles on this event earlier in the season. She's one of those athletes that's pursuing an Olympic dream after this competition. So she's been training lots of hard skills in addition to this college routine you're seeing here. And they were finding that in the competition when she was warming up the harder skills, it was messing up her college routine. So they dialed it back of when she was training those skills, and it's really had a positive effect in the competition. Oh no.
Oh, and that is terrible. So now Florida, they will have to count the 9.6625 from Victoria Wynn.
I mean, that is so unlike Leanne Wong. She's so solid. She had such a great day, earning that 2nd place in the all-around here a couple days ago. Just looking to finish strong, but talk about an athlete that's tough on themselves. She is not going to be happy here.
Yeah, just a extremely uncharacteristic mistake.
I think the theme of this weekend is that anything can happen in the sport of gymnastics. It really hasn't always been that way, but the upset we saw with Oklahoma on vault, the pressure is insurmountable at times.
And back to vault, the final competitor for Cal. This is Ella Cesario. Jaden Silver's posting a very respectable 9.85. Right now, Cal's sitting with a 49.4875 on vault. Let's see if Ella can post a big one here and help boost that score. A beautiful Yurchenko full. That's a 9.95 start value, but that was stunning. Just the slightest shuffle on the landing.
Yeah, the technicality, if you're going to be doing a Yurchenko layout full with a lower start value, it's got to be as technically sound as that. Of course, she took the hop on the landing, so that'll be a deduction, but should not see any deductions from those hip positions.
And up as the final competitor for Florida, Ellie Lazzari, who, Sam, during semifinals took a really unfortunate and kind of a nasty fall.
Yeah, on her series, she showed me the replay, asked what I saw actually, and she just didn't push hard enough out of her back foot. I'll point it out to you when we come to it, but she seemed like she was a little in her head. I told her, you know, you gotta brush it off, not think about it. You've done 100 of the right ones. It's funny, Bridget, we talk about the mentality of gymnastics, and you could do it so many times perfectly, but oftentimes it's easier to remember that one bad one you did. But this is important because they need her to hit in order for Florida not to count a fall. This is where the problems came. She saves it. That'll be a wobble, deduction, but way to erase what happened.
Leanne Wong posting just a 9.375.
But it's team sport, different than elite gymnastics. We talk about all the differences between college and elite. Leanne comes from the elite world, is doing college, going back to the elite world, and that's the beauty, in my opinion, of college gymnastics, is this is a team sport.
Absolutely.
So she's got athletes like Ellie that can hopefully get the job done. And she does.
Gorgeous finish for Ellie. Just the slightest balance check on that series. But again, we mentioned in semifinals, she really took a hit on that series. So to see, that's such a confidence boost to her and her team, knowing, hey guys, I got this.
The scores are tight. I'm looking across the board. This is exciting. Cal posting a huge 49.5 on what I believe is the toughest event to put up some big scores on. I think that's going to be the team to beat on vault so far. But Florida still looking for Ellie's score to see what the true totals will be.
Well, that wraps up rotation number 3. Don't go anywhere because your champion will be crowned with this final rotation coming up. I'm Bridget Sloan with Samantha Peshek. We are the Vault and Beam Stream. Don't go anywhere.
After this rotation, we're 3 events down here in Dickies Arena. My name is Samantha Peshek alongside Bridget Sloan with the Vault and Beam Stream team. We got some score updates for you. In first place, we have a change, Bridget. Utah is now leading with a 148.5, but following right behind is LSU and Cal. And then in fourth place, with a 147.9625 is Florida. They had a couple of mistakes on beam that's led them to now be in that fourth place position by a little bit further than what they're hoping, I'm sure.
One thing to keep in mind, though, is that Florida is ending on floor. This is a huge and really high-scoring event for them. They're remarkable on floor. And let's not forget that LSU is actually going to be ending on balance beam, an event that can be extremely challenging, and Utah ending on vault and then Cal on bar. So anything can happen in this final rotation, which makes gymnastics just so much fun to watch.
I feel like vault is the new beam. So my only hope is that Utah doesn't try to go for the sticks. We saw what happened and the detrimental effects that can do to a team. So I'm hoping that Jimmy Pratt, their vault coach, told them to, hey, just take a step forward. And whether they take a step forward or stick it, it's still positive versus under-rotating, which is usually what happens when the athletes go for a stick.
Well, starting off this vault rotation for Utah, this is Cammie Winger. This is the first time that Utah has 6 10-0 start values.
Oh, no. Well, fall on vault and a significant mistake on bars. I know that's not our stream, but I think these athletes are feeling the pressure.
They know what is at stake. Utah starting off with a fall. That is, it's not the end. They have 5 scores, but that puts the pressure on all 5 remaining athletes. It looks like, Sam, you said, you hope that Utah's not trying to focus on the sticks, but it looked like she was just really honing in on that stick. And then transitioning over to balance beam, this is Sierra Ballard for LSU, one of the strongest leadoff athletes, in my opinion. If you need a solid start and a guaranteed hit, Sierra Ballard.
Back handspring layout. Now what I like about Sierra on beam is just how aggressive she is. Coaches talk about how she has such a strong process going to mount the beam. She's really in her own head in a good way, talking herself through those mental cues, but I think that's why you see her so sharp in competitions, because her mental process is so sound. Sierra doesn't look nervous. We saw some nerves from the first athletes on the other events, but not Sierra.
And all she has to do is land this dismount, but I think you and I both know she's capable of sticking this dismount. Round off 1.5.
Oh, off to a good start. LSU wants this championship. It'll be the first time in history. I saw former head coach Dee Bro in the audience. She's pumped up, and man, she's been waiting for this championship to come to Baton Rouge. Could this be the year?
Wow, what a start for LSU on balance beam. Sam, we said it was gonna come down to the final routine, and man, is it looking like that. Back to vault, this is Ella Zerbis for Utah. Pressure on, because Utah is currently only counting fall in that first position.
And it's another freshman.
Oh man, Sam. Not the vault rotation Utah wanted or needed.
No.
Let's do a little flashback. At regionals, Utah ended on vault and they had to hit in order to advance. You have to wonder, is the pressure getting to them?
But they've been in this pressure situation before. That's what's a little surprising to me.
Back to beam. This is Savannah Shanehair, and Sierra just posted a huge 9.95.
Wow. It's the biggest leadoff score we've seen in today's competition. That's setting them up for some pretty big back-end scores, if you ask me. During the regional semifinals, Savannah was in the second spot, and I think it was the best routine that I'd seen from her. She's definitely an athlete that can handle the pressure. I think she likes it too. Strong front aerial, sharp to that finish. It's a good indicator that she's feeling good.
Acro series.
Solid. You can see LSU is dialed in. They want this championship, and it doesn't look like they're feeling the nerves. They're just thinking nothing else. Oh, wow.
Ooh. And that foot hit.
Oh, no. Exactly the opposite of what I just said. She just was, how interesting, and you tend to make silly mistakes when you're feeling the pressure.
Wow.
finishing strong. I'm really curious what the judges are going to do with this deduction, to be honest.
I saw her foot hit the floor, so that is a clear indication. I mean, that is a fall. That is a 5/10 deduction. I think she was trying to save it, but just couldn't.
So it'll be even more than a fall. Oh, man. You know, you want to laugh, you want to cry, you want to be frustrated.
A lot of emotion.
This is her last competitive routine. Maybe that played into the mentality a bit. But what you don't want to do is shut down for your team, because they're still in it.
Absolutely, Sam. And over to Utah, this is Ashley Glynn. Right now, Utah not posting some big scores here. Let's see if Ashley can get them back on track.
This is her first year as a Utah Ute. Best vault.
Absolutely. That was better than in semifinals. The power, the execution, just a very small step on the landing, but it is going to come down to the 10th.
Utah looks like they lost a lot of wind in their sails, but hopefully they're looking around. We're seeing mistakes left and right here in this final rotation.
Back to beam, Connor McLean, freshman for the LSU Tigers, and one of the best freshmen to probably step foot on that campus.
She's nearly textbook on this event. But this is her first time competing in a championship final, so can she handle that pressure following a fall in this critical moment?
She has that international experience. I can imagine she's put herself, whether her teammates have helped her or not, she can put herself in those pressure situations to know it's me and the beam up there.
But she's just so beautiful to watch on this event. Full extension. But LSU cannot have another mistake. Florida was coming into this rotation fourth, but they're finishing on floor and putting up some big numbers.
Connor McLean so far doing a fabulous job. So smooth with her transition from her dance to her elements.
And it's looking flawless. If she's nervous, you can't tell.
Wow. And the dismount.
She does it. She gets Utah. She gets LSU back on track. They're not 100% in the clear, but they needed
that.
A really solid routine, and Connor is able to get the job done.
Wow. Savannah Shane here only posting that 9.3875, so that is absolutely the score that LSU is going to have to drop if they want to stay in it. And over to Utah, this is McKenna Smith and Ashley Glynn with a huge 9.9125. Can they stay in it?
Wow. I love how vertical her chest is when she lands. Beautifully done.
Nice height off the vault. What I love is her shoulders, how tight she is when she hits the vault. Just bouncing like a bouncy ball, one might say, just bouncing off the vault. Really nicely done. Sam, you mentioned that Utah kind of lost its wind, lost that energy heading into this fourth rotation. It's exciting to see them get it back, but is it gonna be enough?
That's the question. But whatever team wins, they will have had a mistake in this competition. I think it's interesting. It's gonna show the grit and which team is fighting the hardest.
And over to beam, this is Kaya Johnson for LSU. Connor, 9.9625.
She's an athlete similar to Sierra that really likes to attack beam. Has an aggressive approach.
Gorgeous. She's not afraid to go big on an event where you can tend to kind of be a little more reserved. Kaya doesn't stray away from that.
In these moments, on beam. All you want to do is get on and get off as quickly as possible with the least amount of mistakes. Ooh, good save. They're slightly under-rotated on that front toss, but finesses it so there will be no deductions. It actually just made it look like she landed taller.
I think I did my best beam routines and my fastest beam routines when the pressure was on, because you're right. You get up there and you're like, all right, let's make this quick. Let's make this painless, and let's make it minimal deductions, which, wow.
LSU again. They're hungry for the championship.
That was incredible. Kaya Johnson, a graduate student.
It's going to be a big score. It's going to be huge. But they're still counting a fall currently. So they need 2 more hit routines to see how it stacks up from the rest.
Over to vault. This is Jaden Rucker. Had some difficulties in warm-up with this vault. So she go 1.5.
Good catch.
Slight step on that landing, but from watching her in warm-up, she just looked a little off. She was twisting super early off the vault and just couldn't get it. Really nice and refreshing to see her kind of slow down, extend off the vault, and get the landing. Just the step, but right now, Utah is counting, and they will have to count that 9.675.
Yeah, and I just don't know if it's going to be enough here, especially with LSU having Haley and Aaliyah at the end. If they're solid, they're going to be tough to beat.
Speaking of Haley, over to LSU on beam. This is Haley Bryant, who took the all-around as an individual.
Front aerial into that back handspring. No issues with the connection.
One thing Haley does so well, she just floats in her leaps and her jumps. Really does the full extension from her toes all the way to her fingertips.
Kaya Johnson scoring a 9.95. Those are the scores you're wanting to see in this final competition. Wow. We're seeing people in the stands, LSU fans, just holding their breath, wanting her to make this dismount. Another nearly perfect routine for the Tigers. Ashley Nat, their beam coach, talks about how they're continuously underrated on this event.
You know, ending on balance beam, it can be a really tricky kind of understanding. Is this a good thing? Is it a bad thing? But LSU really taking it on as not just a good thing, but a great thing. They are so tremendous on balance beam, and it is showing tonight. And back to vault, the final competitor for Utah. This is Grace McCallum. Jaden Rucker, a 9.9.
Yeah, they're having 3 solid 9.9 pluses in this vault lineup. Grace has the potential to put up an even bigger one.
Little shuffle on that landing. Just not the vault rotation that they needed to solidify.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Anything can happen. There are still all events going on, so anything can happen. But that 9.2 and that 9.6 really, yeah, it hurt.
Yeah, I'm just not sure it's enough in this fierce competition with all the 9.9 pluses we're seeing from LSU here.
And over to balance beam, Sam. This is the final competitor for LSU, Aaliyah Finnegan. Pressure is on.
Yeah, really, I hate to say it, but if they want a national championship, it's all up to Aaliyah. Because without Aaliyah's score, they are currently counting a fall. And all you have to hope from Aaliyah is that she's not thinking about anything that we just mentioned, that she's just staying in her own bubble.
Hopefully she's not listening to the broadcast and the live stream.
Hopefully, at least not right now. Handspring, layout, layout, wow. But you can't get too excited. I think that's what we saw from Savannah. Great extension in those leaps. She doesn't look like she's playing tight, which is an indicator that you're nervous. She actually just looks a little more polished and sharper. I don't know how that's possible.
I think in semifinals, she didn't look quite this relaxed. She hit a beautiful beam routine, but today it just seems like she knows.
UCLA came back in the fourth and final rotation in 2018 on balance beam, so it's possible to win a championship here. I think it's just a little bit harder.
I mean, Florida came back in 2013. The same thing, they counted a fall, but wow, Sam, can LSU do it? Is it their year? I mean, we just witnessed greatness. That was the best beam routine I've ever seen from Aaliyah. I think everybody's feeling it in that LSU corral.
Huge hug from Jay Clark. Could this be his first championship as a head coach? It's looking like it will be.
So Sam, the
Dee
scores?
Bro, former head coach.
Oh my gosh.
She has been waiting for this championship for so long. Could tonight be the night?
Well, with the scores that are there in LSU, you're seeing the emotion, but something to keep in mind, Utah is at a 1-9, so Utah will not win. Utah had a 197.8. LSU.
Aaliyah Finnegan, we just got word, needs a 9.6875 to win.
And she got that. Aaliyah Finnegan finishing with a 9.95.
We just got word that LSU are the 2024 NCAA champions. What a huge moment for the LSU Tigers. For the first time in school history, they're taking the title back to Baton Rouge.
What a just challenging last couple years for LSU. Last year, when they were competing here, they said, we don't even know how we got here. They had so many obstacles to overcome. And this year, head coach Jay Clark even mentioned this team is different. They know they can do it. They're confident in their gymnastics. And wow, what a day for LSU.
They don't have final confirmation that they're the champions yet. We have very smart people in our ear mathematically telling us that LSU is the champions, but their fans have not gotten the final word that they're the champions yet. I'm hoping and probably thinking they're having some smart people in their ear also, but it has not been formally announced in the arena. Florida still is finishing on floor. Leanne Wong in that anchor spot, but I think the standings that you're looking at should remain even if Leanne Wong were to get a perfect 10. So even with a perfect 10 from Leanne Wong, Florida would still sit in that fourth place. Courtney and her husband Garrett. She was an athlete of Jay Clark's back in Georgia's heyday. They came from that Georgia program that was so dominant for so long, but head coach Jay Clark has been working on this championship individually for quite some time. He was joking with me before the meet started. He said, it's every coach's here first championship, but I'm the oldest, so I deserve it. I told him I didn't think that's how it worked, but man, he's got to be excited right now.
And Sam, we can't not talk about the other teams that are here competing. LSU taking that championship, but Cal ending with a huge 197.85. Utah with 197.8, and Florida with a 197.4375. But crowning your NCAA champion, LSU Tigers.
Yeah, California should. It's hard, right? They got second place and they were so close to the title. But this is the highest Cal finish in history. A lot of records broken tonight and a lot of special moments that these athletes will remember forever.
Wow. Well, there you have it. LSU, your 2024 NCAA champions. I'm Bridget Sloan alongside Samantha Peshik. Make sure to tune into ESPN Plus for the crowning of the champions. It's been a wonderful day. Thanks for joining us. See ya.